Life has a way of lulling you into a false sense of security. Looking back, I see warning signs, subtle changes in behavior, moments that should have made me question everything. But at the time, I was blinded by the illusion of happiness. I met Jennifer in college, my freshman year. She was everything I wanted in a woman: smart, beautiful, and full of life. We spent countless nights talking about our future, dreaming of a family, a home, and a life of love. It all seemed so real, so perfect. We got married early, against the advice of our parents, who thought we should wait until we were financially stable. But love doesn't wait for the perfect moment, at least that's what I thought. We were determined to build a life together, and we did. After graduating from university, I worked tirelessly to climb the career ladder. I started at a medium-sized firm, working late and early in the morning, always striving for more. Jennifer, on the other hand, took a different path. She wanted to be at home with her children, and I fully supported that decision. It seemed to me that it was the right thing to do. I work to provide, and she raises our children. Years passed, and my career flourished. I moved from company to company, each transition bringing more responsibility, more money, and more prestige. When I turned 40, I achieved what many people only dreamed of. I was the deputy CEO of a large corporation, managing operations that generated millions. Jennifer and I had 2 children, Emily and Jake, both in their teens. They were my pride and joy. I worked hard to give them everything I didn't have as a child: private schools, trips to Europe, a nice house in a prestigious neighborhood. It was the American dream, or so I thought. But over the years, something changed between Jennifer and me. At first, I chalked it up to the natural evolution of marriage. The passion we once had cooled to a friendly relationship, but that was okay, right? We still had our family, our home, our shared history. It had to mean something. It wasn't until one evening, as I sat in my office late at night, that my world started to crumble. I was looking for old emails when I accidentally opened a folder with photos that Jennifer had forwarded from her phone. At first, they were harmless, pictures of the kids, our family travels, random snapshots of everyday life. And then I saw them. Pictures of Jennifer with another man. Not just random photos, but intimate ones. She was smiling at him the way she used to smile at me, holding his hand. She was kissing him. For a moment, my brain refused to process what my eyes were seeing. It was like a dream, or rather a nightmare. My hand shook as I scrolled through the images, each one worse than the last. The timestamps told me all I needed to know. This had been going on for years. Years. I sat in stunned silence, my whole body numb. Everything I had built, everything I believed in, was a lie. The woman I trusted with my life, the mother of my children, had betrayed me in the most unforgivable way. I closed the folder, leaned back, and stared at the ceiling. Questions swarmed in my head. Who was he? How did I not notice this? And most importantly, what should I do next? The next hours after my discovery were a blur. I don't remember driving home, but somehow I found myself parked in the driveway, looking at the house that had once been my refuge. Now it seemed foreign to me, tainted. Jennifer was inside, probably going about her evening routine, unaware that her world was about to change. My heart was pounding in my chest as I gripped the steering wheel, trying to hold back the rage that was boiling inside me. I wanted to barge in, confront her, demand answers. But something was holding me back. Instead, I sat there, letting the weight of the betrayal crush me. I thought about Emily and Jake, sleeping peacefully in their rooms, unaware of the storm that was brewing in their family. How would this affect them? How can I protect them from the truth without jeopardizing my own integrity? Finally, I gathered the strength to get out of the car and enter the house. As soon as I walked in, Jennifer looked up from the couch and smiled as if nothing had changed. "Hi, you're home late," she said casually. I forced myself to nod, my throat too tight to speak. I couldn't confront her, not yet. I needed a plan. I needed proof beyond the photos. I needed to be prepared for what was about to happen. So I played along, acting as if I hadn't just seen the images that destroyed our lives. But deep down, I was already planning my next move. The next few days were a test of my patience and willpower. Every moment I spent in Jennifer's presence was torture, but I forced myself to remain calm, to act as if nothing had changed. If I was going to confront her, I needed irrefutable evidence. The photos alone were enough, but I wanted more. I started my investigation quietly. I checked her phone records, looking for unfamiliar numbers. I scrolled through our joint financial statements, looking for suspicious transactions. And then I found them: a string of hotel accounts, fancy restaurants, and luxury boutiques. Places I had never taken her. I dug deeper, installing a keylogger on our home computer. Within days, I had access to her emails and messages. What I found made my stomach turn. Jennifer had been dating him for years. His name was David, a man she met through a mutual friend. Their conversations were full of cute nonsense, inside jokes, and detailed meeting plans. They talked about love, passion, and a future together. And it was as if I no longer existed. The betrayal was deeper than I could have imagined. It was not just an affair. She had built a whole second life behind my back. Armed with new evidence, I knew the time for pretending was over. It was time to act. I couldn't keep up the facade any longer. The moment had come. One evening, after dinner, I asked Jennifer to sit down. The kids were with friends, and the house was quiet. It was the perfect time. "I know everything," I said in a calm but firm voice. She looked at me, feigning innocence. "What are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone and showed her the photos, messages, hotel receipts. Her face turned pale. She opened her mouth to speak, but found no words. "How long?" I asked. Tears appeared in her eyes. "I don't know what to say." "Try telling the truth for once," I replied. She broke down, sobbing, trying to explain herself. But I wasn't interested in excuses. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know how she could betray me, our children, our entire life together. As she stammered, apologizing and making excuses, I realized something. I was no longer angry. I was done with her. The next steps were clear. Divorce, custody, protecting what was mine, and making sure she got exactly what she deserved. Jennifer's tears meant nothing to me now. I had already made my decision. The next morning, I went to a divorce lawyer, one of the best in town. I wasn't just going to end our marriage. I was going to make sure she didn't take what wasn't hers. I gathered every piece of evidence, every bank statement, every message, every hotel bill. I was ready to fight. It wasn't just about revenge, it was about justice. The day came. My lawyer and I filed the divorce papers, making sure that Jennifer received them in the most humiliating way possible at a yoga class, in front of her friends. She immediately called me, furious and sobbing, but I refused to answer. That was just the beginning. I was determined to protect what was mine. We had accumulated a significant amount of assets over the years, and I wasn't going to let Jennifer take half of it after years of deception. My legal team was aggressive, uncovering financial discrepancies that further exposed her lies. Jennifer fought back, claiming she deserved her fair share, but I prevailed. The evidence of her infidelity, the financial records, and even the testimony of close friends painted an undeniable picture of betrayal. The battle was ugly. The court hearings, heated negotiations, and endless arguments exhausted me, but I remained steadfast. It was no longer about revenge, but about justice and protecting my future. While the financial war was raging, another battle was brewing, the custody of Emily and Jake. Jennifer insisted on joint custody, but I knew she was doing it for leverage, not out of genuine concern for the children. I refused to let my children be pawns in her manipulative games. I gathered witnesses, friends, teachers, even neighbors who could confirm my role as a devoted parent. My team of lawyers analyzed Jennifer's actions, exposing her negligence, her late-night antics, and the fact that she put her affair before our family. The courtroom became my battlefield. Each hearing was a test of endurance, each accusation a new obstacle to overcome. Jennifer tried to make me look like a distant, career-obsessed father, but the evidence spoke for itself. I had always been there for my children, and I wasn't going to let her rewrite history. Months passed in a fog of testimony and court dates. Finally, the judge made a decision. Sole custody was awarded to me. Jennifer's deception cost her not only our marriage, but also the opportunity to have a major influence on our children's lives. She broke down in court, begging for leniency, but it was too late. The damage was done, and I would not allow her to undo the justice that had already been done. My children would have stability, security, and, most importantly, a father who truly put them first. After winning the custody battle and coming close to ending the financial dispute, I began the difficult process of rebuilding my life. The divorce was exhausting, but in the end, I secured my children's future and my own peace of mind. Jennifer moved out of our home, leaving behind the remnants of a life that no longer existed. I focused on Emily and Jake, trying to provide them with safety and love despite the upheaval. Therapy sessions, open conversations, and quality time helped them through the changes, and gradually our new life began to take shape. Professionally, I threw myself into my work, using this challenge as a distraction. But beyond career success, I knew I had to rethink my own definition of happiness. I reconnected with old friends, took up hobbies I had long neglected, and finally allowed myself to consider love again. Jennifer tried to contact me several times, seeking some form of reconciliation, not to repair our marriage, but to save her own sense of dignity. I refused to participate in this, except for what was necessary for the children. My forgiveness will not come easily, and even if it does, it will not overturn the choice she made. For the first time in years, I felt free. The storm had passed, and although the scars remained, I was stronger for having survived it. My children and I had a future that was not defined by betrayal, but by resilience and hope. As time passed, life gradually settled into a new rhythm. The days of legal battles and emotional turmoil were in the distant past. I had my children, my career, and most importantly, my peace of mind. Emily and Jake had adapted well, their laughter filling the house again. They were thriving in school, and I tried to be there in every way possible, cheering them on at soccer games, helping them with their homework, and being the constant support they needed. One evening, watching them play in the backyard, I realized how far we had come. The pain of the betrayal disappeared, replaced by gratitude for the lessons she had taught me. I was stronger, more confident, and determined to make the most of the life that lay ahead of me. Finally, I met someone new. It wasn't rushed or forced, it was a natural connection built on trust and shared values. She understood my past, but did not define me by it. With her, I saw the possibility of love without deception, of a future not overshadowed by the past. As I moved forward, I bore the scars of my journey, but they no longer defined me. They reminded me of my strength, my resilience, and my unwavering commitment to protecting what really matters. The chapter with Jennifer was over, but my story was far from over. The future belonged to me, and for the first time in a long time, I was looking forward to what was yet to come. As the years passed, my new life truly took shape. My relationship with Emily and Jake flourished, and I watched them grow into strong, independent individuals. The pain of the past no longer had a hold over us. It had become a distant lesson, a reminder of resilience and growth. Jennifer remained in the background of our lives. She attempted to rebuild her relationship with the children, but the damage she had done was not so easily repaired. Emily and Jake were cordial but distant, and over time, their connection with their mother became nothing more than occasional visits and polite conversations. Meanwhile, my career continued to thrive, but I no longer saw work as an escape. Instead, I embraced life beyond the office. I traveled, spent time with the people who truly mattered, and continued building a future rooted in honesty and integrity. The woman I had met became more than just a fleeting presence. She became my partner. She brought a sense of peace and happiness I hadn't known was possible. There was no deceit, no hidden agenda, just a love built on trust, understanding, and shared dreams. One evening, as I stood on my back porch, watching the sunset with my children and the woman I loved, I realized that I had found true freedom, not just from Jennifer's betrayal, but from the anger, the resentment, and the pain that had once consumed me. I had built something stronger, something real. I had won, not in court, not in revenge, but in life itself. And that was the greatest victory of all.